Hi, let's bring in Nicolle Wallace. Nicolle, good to see you.
Good morning.
I want to talk more about that white nationalist situation in a second, but let's start with this meeting that was held in New York yesterday. Donald Trump inviting media executives and journalists. Some of the people in that room, I think, felt they were about to have some kind of a fresh start. Instead, it turned very confrontational with Donald Trump calling some in the room liars. One person described it as a blanking firing squad. So what happens to a fresh start, or is this simply sending a message?
So Donald Trump has some legitimate concerns with the media. One is that all of us, myself included, relied on polls that turned out to be flat wrong. So there was a message to be delivered, I think, that not only his supporters, but that even the media could have heard openly and acknowledged that we all relied on polls that turned out not to be true. We did miss some of his support, and we did miss some of his supporters. That said, launching a hot war with the media before you are inaugurated really deprives you as a politician, and he's not just a candidate, he will be the leader of this country, of a whole lot of viewers. So this is biting your nose to spite your face, in my view.
Let's talk about, speaking of bypassing the media, he released a video setting out the agenda for his first 100 days or so. Lots of presidents have chosen to bypass the media and kind of go through their own channels. What did you make of the videotape? In particular, what was in it, what wasn't in it?
Well, Hillary Clinton and Jeb Bush, two very traditional politicians, announced their runs for the presidency in a similar video. So as a tactic, it's a good one. It's a smart one. But again, there will come a point where you want to speak not just to your supporters who are cheered by his efforts to bypass the media, but when you want to speak to the viewers of programs like this. And this, again, is going to deprive him of access to a lot of Americans that he's going to want to reach.
In terms of speaking to Americans, we just saw Hallie's report on that gathering of white nationalists in Washington over the weekend. We saw that Heil Trump salute that looks so much like a Heil Hitler salute. What does President-elect Trump need to say about that right now to stop that in its tracks?
So we can call it the alt-right and white nationalism, and I understand that those terms are being thrown around interchangeably. It is white supremacy, and there is one answer. It is not only to say they're not with me, it is to denounce it. And in the same way that pressure built on candidate Obama to give a speech about race when the conversation in this country about race became very fraught, I think the pressure is building on Donald Trump to address the subject of race and the blurred lines between what is plainly white supremacy and his base of support. And if he doesn't, the responsibility will now be on him if we see some sort of uptick in racial intolerance or racial incidents. And this is not really a concern among adults, but if you see these kinds of conversation, this kind of speech spreading to schools, this is squarely on his shoulders.
Nicolle Wallace. Nicolle, thank you very much.